A new week brings sharply higher COVID-19 numbers with no end in sight. The United States is now averaging nearly 2,200 deaths per day, and health officials warn of new spikes after holiday gatherings. In California, almost 85% of state residents went under stay-at-home orders today.
The point is to stay at home during this critical time, to bring transmission rates down, to help us get this under control so our hospitals can do what they have done for so long, which is provide high-quality health care to all those Californians who need it.
But in New York City, elementary schools reopened, something many parents had clamored for. Mayor Bill de Blasio cited low infections in the classroom. President-elect Joe Biden today announced his selections to oversee the pandemic and health care in general. He's nominating California's Attorney General Xavier Becerra to be the Secretary of Health and Human Services. Becerra would be the first Latino in that role. Harvard's Dr. Rochelle Walensky will be director of the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. And Dr. Anthony Fauci of the National Institutes of Health will also be chief medical advisor on COVID-19. Later, Mr. Biden said that he will announce his choices for Attorney General and Secretary of Defense this week. The top elections official in Georgia has recertified the state's results and once again confirmed President-elect Biden's victory there. Georgia's Secretary of State Brad Raffensperger made the announcement today after a recount requested by the Trump campaign.
We have now counted legally cast ballots 3 times, and the results remain unchanged. Disinformation regarding election administration should be condemned and rejected. Integrity matters, truth matters.
Meanwhile, federal judges dismissed separate lawsuits by a Trump ally to overturn the results in Michigan and in Georgia. In Venezuela, President Nicolas Maduro has extended his power over the only government body under opposition control. Sunday's elections handed Maduro's socialist allies a landslide victory in the National Congress. The opposition mostly boycotted the vote. The U.S., the European Union, and much of Latin America rejected the results. 2 robotic spacecraft are making headlines with historic cargoes. A Japanese capsule came down safely in the Australian outback on Sunday. It's the first to retrieve rocks from below an asteroid surface. And a Chinese spacecraft is ready to return with samples from the moon. As this animation shows, that hasn't been done since the 1970s. On Wall Street today, stocks had a choppy session. The Dow Jones Industrial Average lost 148 points to close at 30,069. The Nasdaq rose 55 points, but the S&P 500 slipped 7. And legendary singer-songwriter Bob Dylan has sold his entire catalog of songs to Universal Music Publishing Group. The price was not announced, but the deal covered more than 600 songs, including Blowin' in the Wind, The Times They Are A-Changin', and Like a Rolling Stone. In other words, priceless. Still to come on the NewsHour, Congress moves closer to passing a long-awaited COVID relief package. With control of the U.S. Senate at stake, 2 very different debates are held in Georgia. We discuss the response to a worsening pandemic with Virginia's Governor Ralph Northam, and much more.
This is the PBS NewsHour from WETA Studios in Washington and in the West from the Walter Cronkite School of Journalism at Arizona State University.